My addiction to City Skylines 2 is purely unreal. Hours pass by me and I quite literally can't understand where my time went. Now the problem being that any casual player trying to get into City Skyline 2 is going to have to be really into city planning to stand a chance at enjoying this monstrous game. What starts off complicated becomes even more complicated several hours into your playthrough, and even as you think you start to understand a mechanic, something absolutely insane might sideblind you. For example, this game has a demand bar in the bottom of your screen and it's simple. I like it. It tells you what type of zoning is in demand. I see there's commercial zoning needed. I place it where I desire based around customer probability and off it goes building. Perfect. Love it. Simple, easy, bada bing, bada boom. Fulfilled demand and everyone is happy. Wrong. Business is broke as and I'm struggling to make money. All of a sudden, the entire street is bankrupt and I have no idea why. Naturally, I search the internet and after a bit, I find this entire write-up that I could probably submit to a real institution and get my civil engineering degree in the city designing because it's kind of a lot. Essentially, the meter is misleading, and if I zone in a correct spot but don't have optimal traffic flow, public transportation, etc., the game's simulation will see people struggling to access this business and it slows down their profits. Like, you're trying to tell me people can't get anywhere in this traffic? Just one more lane, bro. Furthermore, if I zone in a big area and the game's random system generates 3 grocery stores on its own, the game will see these 3 as the same type of commercial real estate and there will be an excess in grocery supply but too little demand to fill them. This means you have to micromanage the type of stores and also not blindly follow the demand bar nor the correct area of placement. And personally, I kind of love it, but of course it has its faults. The game should probably automate what buildings are going up in order to keep the system running smoothly. Like, the idea is you want to oversee a city and its vision, not micromanage its economics. And that's the thing about this game. It's like a complex abusive relationship. It's very far from perfect, but it's just a little too fun to let go, so you keep coming back. Or something like that. That's kind of a bad analogy. Regardless, the game keeps on giving. When designing my city, I knew I wanted public transportation, but didn't plan for it properly ahead of time. So I have my citizens crossing bridges along highways to walk to work. The true North American urbanism at its finest. To save poor Bobby from being run over, I decided to work on my subway system since I can lay it down beneath the ground and expand the network to reduce traffic congestion. You can get detailed, like renaming the lines on the subway, recoloring them, etc. Like I have an industrial line, which is a route to take workers to their industrial jobs. Pretty simple, yet complex at the same time. Add some parking fees on certain streets and bada bing bada boom, you've made improvements to your city and someone else is complaining, geez. Air pollution. I must have zoned the industrial a little bit too close to home. But I'm pretty sure a little bit of air pollution never hurt anyone. Now, something else super enjoyable with this game is just the small details. Complex and wavy roads aren't practical in all sense, but look very pretty, and the way you design them just works flawlessly. It just makes these beautifully complex projects easy to do. You can do the same with paths, add parks and greenery, rename it to a fitting road, and you have something that genuinely looks nice. It also reflects the activities around the area and the well-being of your citizens. The game isn't perfect at all, but if you look over your 10.5 frames per second, you get a simulation that for the most part is rewarding to your efforts and efficiencies. But like I said, not perfect, because they have some insane polygon counts. I mean, bruh, yet still, I have to appreciate this game for what it does do correctly. It is heartbreaking because at some points the game is vastly broken and there's a lot of potential underneath, and I believe it could be a near perfect experience with more time in the oven, but it's blanketed by issues that could be ironed out if the developers nowadays took their time. When placing a path in the correct location, I can see citizens begin to use the path immediately. When there's a traffic jam, adding or rerouting roads can be as effective as adding another lane. It's the complexity of the simulation that really makes you feel like you're not only designing your city, but actively using problem-solving skills that give you the same satisfaction as a puzzle game. But of course, this works in inverse as well. My first attempt at a bus path was abysmal. I made like 3 different routes and only one was ever used, so I deleted the 2 unutilized lanes and instead routed subways with cross sections, and then right away the flow of pedestrians improved immediately. Meaning bad planning is punished. And the game kind of keeps on giving. Like, the skill tree style system is something I was hesitant about, but I ended up kind of enjoying, and it made the game satisfying because as you unlock stuff, you could rezone or repurpose, break down and rebuild, and that part is very, very interesting because early on you don't grasp all the systems, and I think the game's designed in a way for people who didn't play Cities Skylines 1, which is me. Like I said, you just might build up one part of your city, but you have to be prepared to tear it back down and redesign and then reconnect it to your existing infrastructure. Now, again, not perfect. For example, if you just want to progress really fast, you can place down a tourist attraction, bulldoze it, place it down, bulldoze it, place it down, and as long as you're okay spending that money, you are farming XP and just maxing out your levels extremely quickly. Again, there needs to be a lot of adjustments to this game. Like, leveling up should be based off of population total instead of an XP system, in my personal opinion. It just makes sense to get to the very, very end once you have like 200k pop. Though, unlike a realistic city, you definitely can push the limits and let your creativity run. I don't know if my new education section will make sense, but having a University Avenue into Education Street is fun. Here I plan to build an entire subsection of the city that's more walkable, tram usable, and will revolve around the younger student demographic. A little more space and greenery is the goal and style, and as I started working on this, I really did enjoy. But again, it doesn't always make sense. In my head, I would think that university and college students are broke, so I tried to prop up low rent, but they hated that it was small space, and the low rent ended up collapsing. And this is a problem that the game has. It categorizes income based off education. So the higher educated someone is, the more income they make, meaning college and university students are demanding like townhomes. So I guess they're all just ballin' and rich. It is what it is. This is where there are gaping holes in the game. That's the thing. I'm not trying to say it's perfect. I'm just trying to say I'm addicted like a crackhead. But seriously, outside my biased opinion that I'm trying to be open about, there are some portions of the game I feel people would be turned off by. Like, I am consistently adjusting taxes and keeping an eye on the economy tab. I personally enjoy it. You play with these numbers often. For example, bringing residential taxes from 10 to 11% will start to affect my citizens' happiness. While for now, I was able to crank taxes up to 30% in all the other sectors, bringing in massive cash flow for now, and they just don't care. I'm not gonna lie, I went from 12 to $45 million and people don't care. Okay, yoink, I guess. This is because I assume the demand is very high and the wealth points in my city is massive. I'm building a wealth-based city, and I'm sure I will have to bring it down later, but as of right now, I can collect these taxes and use the cash flow to better my city. With that being said, it does automate some of these things in the background, if not most of them. Like, if you have an abundance of electricity, your city will start selling the excess electricity to the outside world, and it's very easy income. It's not like a difficult game. And I do want to add to this part because I've played the game more since I started editing this video, and I need to say, like, the wealth portion of it, like, I think I hit 70, then 80 million. Like, the progression in this game is linear and simple to the point where, like, after the initial challenge of the early game, it's basically the same as if you're playing creative or non-creative, which is like unlimited money plus everything unlocked. Because I started a second city and there's very little difference other than the first 5 to 10 hours of your gaming session, except now I can kind of pre-plan a mega city ahead of time instead of having to bulldoze and rebuild over and over. So I guess it's a gameplay style, but either way, game is easy. Arguably, the only hard part about the games are the bugs, like the garbage system. If I build a large landfill to keep me covered for a while, the game will start automatically accepting garbage from outside without me properly controlling it. And now all my citizens are complaining about waste management, even though I have so much waste things around. So this can be frustrating. It's not realistic, but at the same time, it's this instant effect that the game has that makes it a little bit enjoyable in other aspects. Again, like roads improving and showcasing people using them right away, or the minute I connect a new electricity grid, I start making more money, or I can see how taxes harm my citizens' happiness within a few seconds and then adjust immediately. There's just no waiting around. I keep my game at 3x speed just because I love the fast-paced nature of everything, where others might pause and build something in slow motion, but I like to keep things going. The only thing you're really punished with is pollution. If you mismanage the industry and pollution sector, which I did, I continue to suffer for a while. My water is shit brown and the air has not cleared even if I rezone and delete things. So for pollution, it takes a long time for the earth to heal itself, which is I guess, realistic, but I think they more so do it to punish a big mistake, which I am being punished for. Anyway, the game is detailed, it's complex, and it's overall determined on doing one thing right, allowing your dream city to come to life, all while presenting challenges that can be solved in a million satisfying ways. It's this balance between creativity and engagement that really has me addicted at the moment, even if it's not perfect. Now, if you were able to watch me ramble this long, you're most likely kind of intrigued by this game, and the game is free on Xbox Game Pass, but otherwise it's pretty easy for me to recommend. Even while making this video, the devs did drop a patch, and personally I'm running this game from my desktop to my laptop on a 3070M. So even with my laptop graphics card, it's running over 120 frames per second, 120 hertz buttery smooth, but I can't ignore other people's problems. People are crashing, people are having issues, so it's a mixed bag, right? My experience will not be yours, and all of this would be solved if developers just slowed things down and took their time. So take it all with a grain of salt. But for now, me, based off my experience, I can recommend this game. And if you're on edge, just wait, because the holidays are coming soon, and there should at least be some small sale through the Christmas break, the holiday break, even if it's just 10% off. And at the rate they are patching the game, I'd hope it's more tidied up by then.